We're bringing an old friend. Met him like in New Brunswick.
Wait,
Know
like
this
he's
guy.
old, or you've known him
He's
for
a,
a while? You
well,
said
he's
old
old
friend.
too. He's like six. He's 61 years old. Yes, he's 61. He's old. He's a bar owner. I met him in a bar one night. It was Jack sitting with Jack and Diane, two American. Okay, Chris Camillo, are you here?
What's up, buddy?
What? What's up? Okay, I was singing about you, but your name's not Jack and Diane, so it doesn't really work. But what is up, man?
I'm a
What is
bar
up?
owner too.
I know. No, you're a bar owner. That's what I said. They asked how I met you, and I said I met you many years ago. I was like Jack and Diane. I had the song flowing. I was in your bar. I was there alone with Jack and Diane, two American. Here, then you saw me, and you came over, and you, I don't know, and I had the song going, but then I lost it because I didn't see your face. But now I see you, so it's all good. It's all good, Mr. Texas man. You're here, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that turned 20,000, 20 million to billions and trillions. So, Chris, did your heart kind of drop a little bit this morning?
Did what drop?
Your like stomach a little bit when you saw that
Oh,
Robinhood stopped taking trades.
you know, yeah, it did. Well, personally, I was fortunate to have gotten out of about 80% of my Wall Street bets trades portfolios. That was last night.
When did you get?
So
Why'd you get out of 80% last night?
late yesterday. Late yesterday, I got out of. Well, I started around midday. I started to climb out of the trade, so I was 80% out. But still, seeing that 20% drop by 50% wasn't awesome. No, I was shocked, man. I had never 32 years trading. I had never seen anything like this before. I had never seen just a notice to say that we're selectively not going to allow you to buy. You can sell just these stocks. It's odd. I don't know if anyone has ever seen it before.
Okay.
I pretty much spent the whole afternoon trying to make sense of it.
Well, there's two reasons why. Another reason why I asked. We're gonna get back to why you sold 80%. We're gonna get back to that. Okay. But one other thing. I mean, I don't think it's a secret. Like, yeah, it's not. We have some investments in Robinhood. You're an investor in Robinhood, and so when you see that they did this, and then the world went against Robinhood, and they're like, "Oh, we're not going to buy that." Do you think? I know people have short-term memories. I know that. Do you think that this is a short-term memory thing, and in 3 weeks this is yesterday's news?
I think it's devastating. I thought it was devastating when it happened. I said, I don't know how Robinhood's going to pull out of this one. Somehow they turn every negative into a positive. They always have. But this felt different to me. I actually wore my I'm a Robinhood investor. I'm a shareholder. I wore my Robinhood shirt on my YouTube show today, and I had so much hate and fire thrown at me. I was forced to take it off midway through my show and put on this shirt because people were threatening to unsubscribe from my channel. I was basically threatened to be canceled if I didn't remove the shirt immediately. And my whole
Okay,
thing
Chris.
was give them a chance.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, my whole thing was give them a chance to explain themselves, right? Let's, was it Robinhood? Was it an operator behind the scenes that forced their hand? Let's hear them out. And so I listened to Vlad on CNBC. I actually tweeted at him. I read his tweet string. I listened to him on CNBC. I also listened to him on Bloomberg. Super disappointed. I'm disappointed as a shareholder. He's not being transparent enough. So I have my interpretation of what happened, right or wrong. I think it's pretty obvious that they had a liquidity crisis. They are not equipped to handle this much volatility and still meet the standards they need to meet in terms of reserves, because there's a number of mechanical things that are happening right now, and every broker is dealing with this. Every broker. The difference appears to be that Schwab and E-Trade and Ameritrade appear to have the funding to still allow us to transact, which is their core function. It should be the most important function of a broker. I wish Vlad would have stood up today and said, hey, I made a mistake. We should have prepared for this day. Even though it's an anomaly, it's not an excuse. Our competitors were better prepared than us. That's on me. That's on me. We will never make this mistake again. We just got $250 million of additional capital. We have plans to raise more money this next year. It's not going to happen again, but this is on me. Okay. Like that's what he should have done. And that's what everybody wanted to hear from him. And if he said that, I'd be confident right now that people will forgive and forget. He hasn't done that. So I don't know at this point. I don't know.
Got it. Got it. And so that's an interesting take that you're saying. And that is different than what I potentially thought you were going to say. And one of the things I was surprised by, so we had the Webull CEO on. We had him on twice. We like actually broke the story when Apex allowed trading the stocks. We were the first. We were by far the Webull CEO was on. And he's like, okay, we're like he came back on and we're good to do it. And so the tweet is like 60,000 retweets. It was crazy, but I got to the bottom of it and what happened with Webull and what happened with other brokerages. And maybe you already know this. It was the SEC, the DTC, and then Apex. And the cost for the collateral, and you may already know this stuff, so whatever. The cost of collateral to settle the trades for 2 days went up from 2% typically for like a GME to like 98%. And so it was, if GME stock went to $500 and then dropped to 10, basically Apex was out of business because they wouldn't have the money to pay the thing. That's what the story was. The thing that you and I talked about, and you, Chris, you and I hosted a clubhouse, a very popular clubhouse. We hosted one, and the thing that we talked about was a way to limit this a little bit is to increase the margin requirements. Like, so for the GME stock, right? Like that's one way they could have done something, right?
But here's the thing. What you're saying is exactly correct. But Robinhood has a slightly different structure for their back end, I believe, in terms of kind of how they work with compliance. The same reason is what caused Robinhood to have to take the steps that they took. Same reason. The difference is Schwab didn't have to do that. Ameritrade didn't do that. E-Trade didn't do that. They had the funds needed. They had the reserves for this type of scenario. Apex did not. So anyone that works with Apex got screwed. Robinhood did not. Either Robinhood or the operators that they're working with did not. So they got screwed. Their clients got screwed. So that's the bottom line. They could have done better. They could have done better by having a risk management team foresee that this was a theoretical scenario and take it measures. They grow a little slower, right? Maybe they don't let new clients on board. Maybe they don't take new accounts for a few months. Maybe they raise more money, right? The ball stops rolling with the CEO in this situation, and he did not take accountability. He brushed off the accountability as, hey, I'm just looking out for the best interest of my firm and our clients. Well, every firm's doing that, yet some other firms somehow were able to still allow their clients to transact in all of the securities on the market today.
Yeah, no, you're right. And the difference with the Webulls and Publix and those other companies, all these other small brokerages, they all used Apex. And Robinhood made a decision 4 years ago to move away from Apex and build their own clearing. And so they had, you're right, they controlled it. The Webulls, the Publix, and the other ones that use Apex, they had no choice, I don't think, because they had to clear through Apex. The Robinhoods did, and you're right, and it's really it's surprising just to say can't buy stock, because you know what the thing is, you know what the story is. The behind the scenes is, did Ken Griffin, who went in and bailed out Melvin, did he go to Apex and say, all right, stop allowing the buys, let's get this market back to normalcy, let the news die down, and let's go. That's what the behind it, right, Chris?
I'm not buying into that conspiracy. I've heard it. I'm not buying into the conspiracy theory. It didn't happen at Apex. It also happened at Robinhood, right? That's criminal behavior if that happened. Vlad was very clear, and I don't think he would have perjured himself today by saying that he did not get pressured in any way. I believe him when he said that. I really do. I don't think that this was a coerced situation. I think it's exactly what you said. It was the requirements went up for a good reason, by the way. They went up for a good reason. The reserve requirements went up because, listen, when you have equities that are making 30, 40, 50% moves every 2 minutes backwards and forwards, right? And you have stop orders that are going through on these, there's a tremendous amount of mechanical execution risks risk all along the chain for these brokers. And that's what a lot of retail traders don't understand, is how much is involved with processing these trades in terms of risk management. Even on a normal day, this is something that every broker deals with. On a day like today, these securities just throw everything out of whack. So I understand that you need to have excess reserves to handle the risk. But that's your job, is to have excess reserves to handle the risk, right? Because if every broker came out today and said the same thing, I would give Robinhood some slack. I'd be like, you know what? This is industry standard. You're no worse or better than anyone else, and we could all say that the industry needs to do better. But that wasn't the case.
Okay. Okay. I mean, and
the last thing I wanted out of Robin, my 2021, the Robinhood IPO was likely the #1 event of the year for me financially. And now I'm sitting here with a black eye thinking, gosh, I'm just writing the whole thing off at this. I mean, I hope they can come back. I actually spoke to some people who said, you know what, you're overreacting. I think 90% of Robinhood customers don't even watch CNBC. They weren't even trading these stocks. They probably don't even know that this happened today. And you know what? If that's the case, great. But I'm too close in with the tens of thousands of people who are on fire right now, and they're not going to forget this quickly.
I agree. I mean, I agree. And you made the point that you were wearing the shirt, you had to take it off, and I know what that feels like. I mean, when the day I went by GameStop, they were going nuts on me that they're calling me boomer and whatever. It was different. It was a different mentality. But I do have a question on this thing. You said you sold 80% or 85% of your what's it called, Reddit stocks, or not, whatever, you know what I mean, Wall Street Bet stocks yesterday. What did you see to sell it? Did you sell in the after hours? Did you sell in the main market? What were you feeling? Did you feel the rally? I mean, just give a little bit on that.
Yeah, it was a combination of a few different factors. It was during the day, starting midday, and then some aftermarket as well. As you know, I decided to give my entire AMC position. I transferred into my charitable foundation for pediatric charities. So that was about $1.7 million of stock. And once I did that, I felt when you manage a foundation's money, it's a different level of conservativeness. So I didn't feel it was appropriate. It's a new foundation. That was a big chunk of how much money. I just opened the foundation a few months ago. I didn't feel it was responsible, now that the money was inside the foundation, to have that much of it in a stock like AMC that was up 600%, right? So that was a personal thing for me. So I knew that I was likely to get out of that position yesterday. Now, I did purchase more AMC this morning in my own brokerage again, outside the foundation. But I was able to give the foundation close to $1.5 million because of that trade. Now, GameStop and the others that I was in, I was just starting to feel like there was more question marks than answers as it related to the momentum and the continued expansion of this investor base, right? That was getting in on these YOLO short the man, like just anti-establishment trades. I felt like it was starting to peak, and when I knew that I might get out too early, I was okay getting out earlier than getting out too late, because I know that if you get out a little too late, the consequences could be more severe. So I didn't get all the way out. I still have these positions. I actually added on to a few of them this morning. But at this point, I'm okay regardless of which way it goes, right? I'm in that comfortable area where I'm like, hey, these things shoot up again tomorrow and Friday into the so-called gamma squeeze that's coming on Friday, right? Awesome. I'll do great. And if they don't, I can live with them going down 80, 90% from here.
Yeah, and people keep asking me, so what's a gamma squeeze?
I think generally what people are referring to is options expiration and everything that goes into option expiration and the forced acquisition of those shares. So like I think that's kind of what people, or how they're using the term. And I actually don't think it's that big of a deal. I think people are blowing out of proportion. I do think that, there are other areas where we'll start to kind of see people, if this trade doesn't work as well as they'd like it to, they'll start to immediately look for other opportunities, because now you've gotten an adrenaline hit, right? Like the dopamine hit. And when you, 6 or 7 days in a row and you're kind of expecting to make 100%, 200%, As soon as you see that's not going to happen, they're immediately going to look for a new opportunity. So one of the things that I was looking at all day was the silver trade, right? I think two of the top 10 trending topics across FinTwit and also StockTwits today were two of these silver stocks, right? The silver ETF and one of the big silver miners. And what you're starting to see is a lot of this hype that, we'll really stick it to the man. How about we take it to all of Wall Street and take down JP Morgan, who tried to depress the silver market with their short position, who's already gotten fined and had to pay almost $1 billion recently for trying to manipulate the silver market. Like that is an evil, right? Like a villain. Like that's the new villain right now. So I knew that there was a narrative that I could potentially see some of these traders getting behind. Now, I'm not there yet. I'm not high conviction, but the narrative is starting to build around this. Well, we can corner the silver market, and it might be tougher for them to shut that down than like a GameStop, right? Because the silver market's bigger. I don't think they could corner the silver market. I think mechanically it's going to be next to impossible for these traders to even attempt to control the silver market, but I think they might try. And if they try, we'll certainly see a pretty big lift with some of these silver stocks. So for me, that's kind of like my next most likely transition for this trade. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'd say maybe 20 to 30% chance we see a transition into silver. There's only so many more stocks you can go into that are shorted, right? And the silver market is heavily shorted.
Yeah, and so I've been an investor in SLV because a guy told me about it a while ago, and then it's been going crazy lately. And silver, I don't even know why, but I get what you're talking about. And so are you buying silver up heavy then right now?
Yeah, I have about $500,000 position between AG, which is that's a ticker for the miner, and I think it's like SLV is a silver ETF. And let me make something clear:
That's what
I am not I'm not a silver bull. Okay, like I don't believe in the silver narrative. I don't believe in it. But I am starting to see an expansion, a natural expansion of this investor base for silver that could get a lot bigger over the next 48 hours. And if it does, I think silver will benefit.
All right, I'm staying.
And can I pop in with a question real quick?
No. And what's the other? Not yet. What's the other What's the other silver one you're in?
AG.
SLV and what's AG?
AG.
Okay. AG. Oh,
yeah.
That was my ex-girlfriend's initials. I don't like that. Okay, but go ahead, Lou. Here's your question.
Yeah.
Listen. Go ahead.
What?
Oh, I was just going to say real quick, we talked about the gamma issue that's coming into Friday. Chris, I want an opinion on whether shorts may cover because they don't want to be holding positions over the weekend, or it may cost them extra money to hold positions over the weekend. Is that any type of catalyst?
Yeah, so I think the weekend works in the favor of the Wall Street bet traders. And the reason why I say that is we've kind of had a short history now of this chatter building up over the weekend and like them getting all riled up going into the opening session on Monday. So I actually, if they can survive Friday, we'll see if they can survive Friday and actually not sell out on Friday. If they don't sell out on Friday and take their profits, because listen, a lot of these traders are up so much, even with this latest pullback. If they can stick to it to end of day Friday, I could theoretically see them having leverage going around the weekend and into Monday morning. So it gets a little dicey for shorts. Because if you're a short, do you want to see how much momentum these guys can get going over the weekend again in these chat rooms, all right? When they have 48 hours.
We might see $800 or something at 6 a.m. early trading, on Monday. So you have no idea.
Yeah, it would scare me, right? So I'd say I give points to the the squeezers going into Monday.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Well, I sold before last weekend or whenever it was, like a little bit. I bought more AMC today. Right when I said it was available for trade, I went to E-Trade. I couldn't buy there. I went to Ameritrade. I bought. It wasn't right, but it was a little bit after. I bought it. So I bought AMC. And I own a few others. What are you doing anything with this Dogecoin or Dogecoin, whatever you want to call it? I mean, everyone keeps talking about it.
It's such a fascinating story. Listen, I was going to buy Dogecoin 2.5 weeks ago because I started to see the buzz kind of picking up on it. And I was like, you know what? I mean, I don't care what it is. I'll invest I'll invest in anything if I see an expansion of conversation around that subject matter. So I started seeing in Dogecoin. I said, no, something's here. No, Tesla. Elon Musk kind of jokingly talked about it in his tweet, one or two tweets,
Yep.
and I was like, at some point, the mere fact that he's talked about it before makes it possible, not likely, but possible, that he'll come back and talk about it again. And I think if he talks about it again, who the hell knows what could happen? So I thought that alone made it worth it for me to go into Dogecoin. Now, the problem was you can't buy it through Coinbase. You can't buy it through like Cash App or any of these platforms. You had to get, and it's been 2 years since I've been on these kind of alt crypto exchanges, and they just annoy the hell out of me. Like, it's a whole thing to like get money in them, like you got to do the driver's license. I didn't want to deal with it, right?
I agree. It's
I'm
such
not
a
in
pain in the ass.
Dogecoin, but I'm starting to see it again. Dogecoin it's a joke. I mean, it was created as a joke, right? That's what's so weird about Dogecoin. But if a joke cryptocurrency ever had a chance, it's right this second, right? Because they don't care about the thing, right? They're looking for the oddest thing that they can hype and pump. And there's nothing easier to pump right now than like a Dogecoin. So honestly, if it were easy for me to buy, I'd be in it right now. I don't want to deal with it. Because I'm not going to buy like $5,000 of it, right? If I'm going to go in, I'm going to buy at least $100,000, $200,000, and like to get that much money into one of these alt exchanges, it's just a headache.
No, I hear you. I hear you. So what's the next trade? Any next trades that you're looking at right now?
I have,
or just trying to catch your breath.
I can pull out. Okay. Yeah, I'm in the silver thing. I could pull out at any second if I start to see a contraction of conversation around silver. So that's, to be determined. I'm still really long in all the EVs. I love the EVs. I mean, they all pulled back over the past 4 days, right? And I just added. I added a little bit, quite honestly, to most of them. We have Peter Thiel has a SPAC, and Tokopedia is the rumored kind of merger for his SPAC. And there was a little bit of a buzz going on today that, that thing might kind of start to come together more. So I think it saw some pretty good price action midday. I'm in that SPAC. I added to it. Tokopedia is like the Amazon of Indonesia. And Peter Thiel, being who he is, it's kind of an exciting SPAC. I think if that deal comes together, it will probably be a top 10 hype SPAC. So whether you believe in Tokopedia or not, it's a narrative. It's a really big narrative. And you get a guy like Peter Thiel behind it, if that comes together, it's worth the risk reward. I think it was trading at like 13 or 14. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not talking about anyone else doing this. This is what I'm doing, right? Like, I'm super my risk tolerance is through the roof. So I can make these speculative trades, and they are all really speculative. But please don't mimic what I'm saying, guys. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at, and all my EV SPACs, I'm just going in them a little harder.
And for the Tokopedia one, what's the ticker on that? One more time.
Well, that's a great question. I don't have the ticker in front of me. It starts with a B. I think I would know it by now. All right. It's B something. Right?
I guarantee ZingerNation knows it. Yeah, throw it out in the chat, guys.
All right, and then what are some of the EV SPACs you like? All of them or what?
Well, man, I really love the commercial trucking SPACs. Lion Electric has come down quite a bit this week. I still love it. The news hasn't changed. The narrative hasn't changed. They're out of Canada. They're one of the leading EV school bus companies out of Canada. They also have a deal with Amazon for, I think, Class 6 and Class 8 trucks for Amazon to purchase maybe 500 a year over the next 5 years. And those are pretty big trucks, so it's kind of a big deal for them. Now, Amazon hasn't formally, they've only ordered 10, and they currently have 2. They haven't yet announced that they're going to formalize the first order of 500. If and when that announcement happens, that'll be a big day for Lion Electric. Proterra is, of course, the largest, EV just commercial transit bus company in North America. They're just killing it. They're the monster in the space. I say monster in the space, so they're really the same size as Line. They're all pretty small, a few hundred million in revenue, but all hoping and projecting to grow to a few billion in revenue over the next 4 years. I have money in them. I have money in Lightning E-Motors, which also does EV commercial trucking. What's interesting about them is they have a platform where they basically integrate electric drivetrains into existing vehicles at like GM and Ford. So it's a little bit of a different business model. My thesis is that all of these business models theoretically win this year. 2022,
Really?
2023. Now 2022, 2023 and beyond, I think you'll start to see the true winners and losers, but we won't know who the winners and losers are this year. This year, I think we're more likely to see good news versus bad news, meaning they're going to say, hey, we got a new contract with so-and-so and so-and-so. We're getting new contracts, more back orders, right? We're doing great with our factory. Like, it's nothing but hype and good news and press releases. Now, 2022, 2023, we'll see if they could meet some of these ambitious projections that they put out there, right? So I like the space because it's really hard for these companies to fail this year, right? Like, they could fail next year, but there's not a lot of ways for them to fail this year. So I think there's a little bit of a floor, right, on a lot of these EV companies. I also have CCIV, which of course is the controversial Lucid Air. I'm in that. It's a little more risky, but I do believe they have an amazing narrative. I'm not saying they're necessarily the next Tesla, but they're the one consumer EV company that really has wowed some people, right? With their design, with their technology. They have the former, I think, VP chief engineer from Tesla, who really did have a tremendous amount of input fixing a lot of the issues with some of the early series Teslas, the Model S. So they have the narrative, they have the management, they have the money, right? So it's a fascinating story. We'll see where it goes. Again, as long as they meet their deadline, opening up their factory and start producing these vehicles in Q2, it's hard to see how they lose because they'll probably sell everything they could make this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I have one question: is do you ever buy the warrants on these stacks? Like, I bought warrants on
I think there are a number of these SPACs where you're better off buying the warrants, but I just haven't gotten that mechanical in terms of my analysis. So for these SPACs, I just have straight up equity, no warrants. Although I do agree that if you're willing to spend some time, you can kind of arbitrage the warrants in some of these SPACs, and it's a better investment. It's a better risk reward if you think these things are going to really take off, right?
Yeah, if they are, and if they don't take off or they don't get closed, I think you lose your money in your warrants. I think it's a riskier way to do it, the warrants. But if they do happen, then they're good. You know, I talked to two SPACs yesterday who filed December, and they're looking to do deals. They're calling me, and they're $1 billion SPACs. And he's like, and I was talking about Benzinga. I'm like, I was trying, you know, there's only so much valuation I can put, you know.
Let's get that $1 billion valuation, baby. Let's go.
But back
give me a couple years.
Yeah, but back in the day, GOCs. No, I had him for like 150 million. He was like 150 million. We'll do it today. Like we'll do it today. I got Benzinga sold for 150 million today, but not billion. So
see, what you need to do is you need to combine Benzinga with a couple other complementary data players, loop them all together, and there you go. There's your fintech SPAC.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, exactly. I mean, and there's another guy who's going to come out. So we're going to have the Voyager CEO come on in like 10 minutes. Their app just went offline. He told me they're opening up 100 accounts a minute. We'll be back up in 10 minutes.
Crap.
Once then I can come back up. But they normally open like, 100 accounts an hour, right? Let's say they're opening 100 accounts per minute. Voyager's crypto, Chris. And it's just unbelievable what's going on right now.
Well, Jason, we need to spin Benzinga as an EV blockchain story, and then we'll be at that $1 billion valuation. That's the move.
That's true. Chris, our revenue.
How about cannabis?
And
yeah, and cannabis. Yes, cannabis is going in there too, 3D printing, genomics. Yeah, we can do all that.
Yeah, and Chris could take that. Chris, our revenue and is more than most of those EV companies right now. You know, so but they have
No
the spin
doubt.
there. Remember, I mean, what's the guy's name that put the truck down the Trevor Milton or something?
Nicola.
Oh yeah, perfect Trevor Milton.
Nicola.
Man,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
I don't know. He is that guy, man. I don't know. Look at them. Look what they're valued at. It's insane. I didn't check them today. They were up to 11 billion yesterday. Unreal. Still.
Yep.
Are you serious?
11 billion, man, for Nicola.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
the,
legit.
the truck rolled very nicely down the hill. You know, I mean, that thing freaking rolled. So
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, we work our asses off, and like, yeah, we do. We have 8 digits in revenue, but like that thing's valued 11 billion, and it has nothing. I mean, Chris, like all you have to do is go drive an electric vehicle. We hire Chris to be an advisor, and we're starting an electric vehicle company. We can SPAC it into that $1 billion thing right now, and we'll show like 25 million in revenue, 10 million in profit. Call it a day. We'll be, you'll have a few hundred million for your foundation. We'll support it. We'll write a check for you to 50 million. We'll all be happy. Let's just do it. What do you say, Chris?
Or figure out how to open up like a lithium mine. Like then you'll really be killing it.
There you go.
There's lithium everywhere. You just got to figure out the science. That's all.
Yeah, no, he's right. Lithium FUV. I own FUV. That's electric vehicle 3 wheels. Lithium is everywhere. It's plentiful. You got to figure out the science. Yeah, Chris, I own the SPAC or not SPAC, the FUV. It's the fun utility vehicle. The reason I own it is because Sandy Monroe, who's in Auburn Hills, is the guy that takes apart cars, and he's the most sought after opinion guy, and he's involved with FUV. It has risen though from 12 to 24, but I own that one.
That's
Someone
nothing
played in the
these
chat.
days.
That's why.
These days,
Yeah,
20% rise is a loss.
It's it's interesting. I had that 12-year-old investor kid on my show a couple weeks ago, and he is so into that company. I mean, he is like deep in that, and he's trying to convince me about it, and I'm just like, I look at him like, they're 3-wheelers. I just quite couldn't get it. But you know what? I missed out on that. I missed out on that last run. I had someone trying to twist my arm to get in it, and I just wouldn't pull the trigger.
Yes. Shout out Young Investor. We love that guy. He's the best.
Yeah,
I mean, he knows his stuff, man. He knows his stuff.
Yeah. Anybody out there who doesn't know who he is, search the Young Investor on YouTube. He's 12 years old. He has his own YouTube channel. He has his own Twitter, and it's not like he's just saying like, I like Starbucks drinks, and so I'm buying the stock. I mean, this kid is like doing some real DD on these stocks and like digging into them. I mean, he is the freaking man. I would invite him on, but he's in England, and it's 5 a.m. Yeah, maybe he'll get on before school. Who knows?
He will. He does like one thing. They're like doing like one thing a week. So you should definitely have him on because, man, I'll tell you, like, he blew my mind. That kid, he's better than most of the analysts I talk to. Like,
well, Chris, you blow my mind since I've known you. So, we'll see you soon. Thank you for coming on. Go to sleep.
Awesome.
Did you ever get dinner 2 nights ago? We were on that clubhouse for 2.5 hours. That was crazy. It gets addicting.
It was fun, man. I'm trying to get into that clubhouse round right now. I'm trying to wedge my way into that funding round.
It's super hard. I may have a vehicle for you if you don't already have it. I had a friend reach out to me.
Hey, could you text me because like I'm interested.
Yeah, like this weekend I will. And because I have a friend of a friend is maybe it's hard to get in. There's another one that's even harder. Clubhouse and one other deal that's so ridiculous. Oh my God, what's the other one? I don't know. There's 2 deals that I've been challenged with to see if I can get these guys in. So I'm, when people say I can't do something, that's when I turn it on and I do it. Like I do. I was told, Chris, my parents were told I'll never be able to read when I was in 1st grade. So that just put me in a different when someone says no, I say yes. That's not with girls. When the girl, I never even got told no about that. I was too nervous. I was too nervous to go up.
Clip. I'm gonna snap that clip.
Yeah.
Hold you hostage
someday. Don't clip that.
Producer Aaron, cut that out.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Camillo, I'll see you at your restaurant hopefully soon. Luke, let's take a trip out to his restaurant.
Yeah, baby, that's what I'm all about.
We'll use the empty Delta airplanes. We'll use a Delta Diamond status. and we'll go to his restaurant. Let's do that soon, actually, Chris. Like in the next month.
No,
or so.
fly
Fun?
Spirit, man. I'm in deep on Spirit, so fly Spirit.
Dude,
Support 'em.
I am so deep in Spirit because of you. That's one of the ones I'm deep into. My brother's like, why would you take Spirit? And I said, it's the fun vacation airlines. That's what you said, Chris. You know, when people want to go to Florida, they want to go to Vegas, they take Spirit. Even though Spirit has the worst customer service ever, there's brawls in Detroit at the airport with Spirit Airlines every week. But you know what? I'm buying more. Buy. Right?
Awesome. Later, guys. It's been fun.
Chris, you're the man. I am in Spirit with you.